All right, now these problems are going to get into other roots, not just square root. So to go back and remind you, remember, square root of 4 is the same thing as the second root of 4, which means how can I split that so that it has two factors that are the same? Well, 2 times 2, and then the square root is 2. That's how we find the square root of 4. So now let's go to a third root. So let's do the third root of 8. So these get a little bit more difficult, but you can do them. You just got to think about what number could be multiplied, remember the same number, 3 times to equal 8. And sometimes it helps if you go to the side, you break it apart. Well, 4 times 2, and then I could break 4 apart, 2 times 2, and look, you got 3 2's. If you remember back in middle school, that's prime factorization, by the way. Wondered when you were going to use that. Well, right there. So 3 2's. So you're going to do third root of 8. Now it's 2 times 2. See, it's into 3 parts because it's a third root. So the third root of 8 is 2. Okay, let's do a fourth root of something. Fourth root of 16. So again, what could we multiply the same number 4 times to get 16? And again, go and jot that down. 16 times 16 is 4 times 4. Still, we need 4 numbers, remember? Well, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Well, 16 breaks into 4 2's. So the fourth root of 16 is 2. One more. Fourth root of 81. So again, what are factors of 81? 9 and 9. And then what are factors of 9? 3 and 3. These aren't hard if you know your math facts, your factors. So then that means there's 4 3's. So the fourth root of 81 is 3. Oops, might want to say it. Okay, now let's do the problems. This is going to be 5, 6, and 7. Number 5. Now this is going to be a fraction. Do not let it scare you at all. We're going to treat it just like these we did up here, but we're going to treat it, it's a fraction. So we're going to do the top and the bottom. So first 16, well, we've already done 16. 16 was 4 2's. So I'm going to write that down. We already did that one. Now, 625. Yes, it's a big number. Where do I even begin? Well, when I look at a number that ends in 5, I always check 5. I check to see what would 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 equal? Well, if you put it in your calculator, it equals 625. So that's my hint to you. Anytime it ends in a 5, always check 5 first. So there's our numbers. So now the fourth root of 16 over 625 is 2/5. The fraction 2/5. Okay, let's do another one. This one's going to be a third root of 125 and 8. Well, look, there's that number with a 5 again. So this time it's a third root. So it has to multiply 3 times. We're checking 5. So you go to your calculator, you check 5 times 5 times 5, it equals 125. You've got your number. Now 8, we already did up here, remember, third root of 8, which is 2. So 2 times 2 times 2. So the third root of 125 over 8 is 5 over 2. All right, now we're going to go back to non-fractions, but still the root problems that are bigger than square roots. So 64 w to the 12th. Okay, so these are like the ones we did at the end earlier. Just treat them as 2 parts. So 64. Well, 64, what number could go into that 3 times? So again, you go and you jot that down and you think your factors are 8 and 8. And then you've got 4 times 2, 4 times 2. Well, look, you have 2 4's and then you have 2 2's. Well, couldn't I put the 2's together and have another 4? So there's my 3 numbers, 4 times 4 times 4. So that's going to be the square root. The third root of 64 is going to be 4, because that's the number it breaks into. And then remember when we did square root and we had variables? Remember when it was square root, we halved the exponent, we divided by 2. Well, now it's a third root, so you're going to divide the exponent. Sorry, I think I said variable a minute ago. We took the exponent earlier and halved it. We would have got 6, but this is a third root. So you're going to take the exponent and you're going to divide it by 3. So that's going to be w to the 4th. And don't forget your w, because that's the variable that goes with that. All right, one more. So this one's going to be a 4th root of 81x to the 8th. Well, guess what? We already did 4th root of 81, which is 3. So we know that's 3. And then remember, when you have your variable and an exponent, whatever the root is, it's a 4th root, you're going to take that exponent and divide by it. So what's 8 divided by 4? 2. So your exponent is x to the 2nd power. And that's how you simplify those with those. These are square roots. We call them nth roots because you're going bigger than square roots. But that's how you simplify them. This is lesson 6.4 to get us started back in chapter 6 to finish the second half of chapter 6.